Well, hello. It's TonyCouldveBeen here again. What a shocker, I know. I notice I do a lot of my videos when I just step out of the shower. Maybe I should start doing them while in the shower. Let me seriously, through my massive amounts of free time, this is what I know about PlayStation 5 so far. Now, I have a prop with me. I know this. Don't get too excited. This is some crazy video editing stuff. This is top-notch video game journalism here. But so as y'all know, this is the PS4 controller. I want to start off with this because I just saw a video about this. So like this is, I wouldn't necessarily call it breaking news, but so let me tell you the differences that the PlayStation 5 controller is supposed to have, according to the patent. So apparently this is a thing. When new patents are reviewed, the media just jumps all over it. PlayStation 4 DualShock controller, or DualShock 4. On the DualShock 5, the touchpad screen is going to be wider. The analog joysticks, the analog sticks, are going to be a little bit smaller, believe it or not. In terms of the triggers right here, they will be a little bit bigger, and they'll be pressure sensitive. So basically, if you're using a bow, for example, you hold L2, you bring a string back, you feel the resistance on that trigger, and then you press R2 and you feel the lightness of it shooting the arrow. That's just an example I came up with. This thing right here, the light bar. Now, a lot of people were not fans of the light bar. They claimed it was useless, which it sort of was, and it ate up a lot of battery. This thing right here, the micro USB, that's gone. Everything is going to USB-C. In terms of that, the speaker is still there. The PlayStation button is still there. Obviously, the main buttons are all the same. So at the front, instead of there be only one port for the headphones and the headset, for example, the microphone and the headphones, the USB-C is going to be some sort of port. I think it's a USB-C. It's going to be here, and there's going to be one on the back too. Now, at some point from this angle, there's actually two circular ports. I assume one of them is for the headset. What the other one is for, I'm not quite sure. I don't know if I misinterpreted the pictures streaming all over the internet right now, but I mean, so far so good. I mean, they're saying it's going to be a little bit bigger in terms of making it more ergonomic, like an ergonomic keyboard, for example. That one is more natural and easier to touch. Doesn't strain your hand as much. But other than that, that's going to be the PS5 DualShock 5 apparently. The share and options buttons are still there at the top right here. Otherwise, yeah, that's what as far as the controller, that's what seems to be what I gather what PlayStation 5 will be like. Now, if you've seen pictures of the PS5, the actual console itself, it looks like something out from 20 years ahead of its time. It's just a really futuristic, where it's like a V, like a triangle, or A, depending on which side you look at. But I don't think that's a finalized version. That was a dev kit. It's generally accepted in the video gaming community that was a fact. That image that I'm describing right now existed, and it was a plan to maybe not finalize, but begin the works and what the console should look like. I'm not too concerned about that right now, but I mean, who really cares what it looks like? I mean, obviously you want it to be aesthetically pleasing, but if it plays games, then like, isn't that all you really need? I mean, like, that's all I'm saying. So the third thing about the PS5 that I'm learning is there's gonna be, like, when this image was first released, it looked like a cartridge, like straight up a Nintendo NES cartridge. Like, is that a little square rectangle thing that you insert into a console, and that's how you play. That's how you play games. So a lot of people are wondering, well, what is this console cartridge thing that Sony is putting a patent out for? So if you went to the I'm not sure if it's the U.S. Patent Office. I'm not sure if there's an international patent office, but these exist. Like, people aren't just making this stuff up. But here was my hope as to what those cartridges were for and what they were. I knew it wasn't gonna happen, but I was hopeful. I was hoping the cartridges were disk drives. Now, let me explain. I don't know anything about computers. I understand that a console is like a mini computer, like a fake ghetto computer that you can't really upgrade, but then you can't, have a word processor on. But I was hoping that was places to answer to backwards compatibility. Now, I know it's just ridiculous. I know, I get it. But I was hopeful. But people were speculating that the cartridges would be expandable storage. Basically, they're hard drives that you add on to the PlayStation 5 to get more hard drive space. Okay, so a lot of people brought up this point that I'm going to share with you right now. Do you remember the PS Vita when it first came out? Now, there was an internal memory. It was like nothing, but there was an internal memory there, and up to 64 gigabytes was on this little PlayStation Vita memory card, like almost like an SD card. But the thing was, it was proprietary. The only ones who made the Vita memory cards was Sony. So if you wanted more memory on your Vita, you have to shell out the money for that SD cards. And these things got ridiculously expensive. Even today, look it up on like GameStop. Look it up on even like Best Buy. Like, if they still sell these cards, and most of the time they're pre-owned, because like Vita's God knows how many old. They were so expensive because Sony was the only one making them, and they never went down in price because, first thing, they're kind of hard to find. I mean, like, I was lucky enough to pick up a 32 gigabyte that takes care of everything I need. I've barely taken that memory card, the SD card, out of the Vita. Even for an owner of a PlayStation TV, I'm not talking about the View, I'm talking about PS TV. If you don't know what that is, look it up. But I mean, the only downside of that, though, every time I took the SD card out, I had to reformat it, and of course that deletes everything. So I wanted to play it on my PS TV, which doesn't play all Vita games, mind you. But long story short, it's just an antique that I collect. I mean, like, I'm sure it will serve a slight purpose as it served recently, but it was, at the time, this is kind of sidebar, but it was my way of testing out the Vita without actually buying a Vita. It was much cheaper. It was, and I tried it and I liked it, and it was just I wasn't too worried about it because I'm like, I doubt it'll have application in the future, but you never know. So yeah, those cartridges, getting back to the point, they're gonna be made only by Sony, maybe at first, but they might make them in a certain way that no other company will make a third-party version of, because it's not cost effective. Supposedly there's an image that showed one cartridge coming in 1 terabyte, another 2 terabyte, another 3 terabyte. Obviously those amounts are not fixed right now, but I mean, if that's what Sony has to do to cover the lower costs of a PlayStation 5 to make the profit through the hard drives, then the hard drives are going to be a little bit expensive, because they're just like the Vita memory cards. Because it's kind of a trade-off. Now, this is good news for someone like me, who's a trophy hunter. I plat games, then I delete them. And I do that back and forth. I do not have a ridiculously large number of games installed on my hard drive. I have a ridiculously large number of games, but I don't have them stored on a hard drive at once. So space is never really an issue for me. Did I get an external hard drive, a USB hard drive for my PlayStation 4? Yes, I did. But it was only because the few good disc games that I had, I wanted it installed onto the actual PlayStation 4 hard drive. Whereas all the bullshit games, all the platinum games, were on my external hard drive. And the external hard drive was obviously bigger than the PS4 Pro's internal hard drive. So I had a theory that this game's ran better on the internal hard drive because you are running it from the disk and you are installing from the disk. But so if I install that on the external hard drive, I just felt like there was less. It was like adding another step to something that didn't need another step in terms of running the game. I'm happy with my decision because that's how I prioritize my games. Does it concern me that the PlayStation 5 will have some bullshit like 500 gigabytes? Yes, it does. Yes, it does. I'm sorry, but I feel like that's the path we're heading in. Not that that's not enough space. I don't think it's enough space, but I hope it has at least 1 terabyte, and maybe in some alternate universe I'll get a 3 terabyte cartridge add-on hard drive. It just sounds funny talking about it. I'm sorry, but yeah. So that's what I know about the PlayStation 5 so far. Believe it or not, launch titles still haven't been announced, and I think they're doing that on purpose. I think Sony just wants to come at you as the holiday season of next year approaches, like launch title, launch title, launch title. I mean, I don't know what this. Obviously, there's gonna be another Final Fantasy. Down the road, there might be another Last of Us. Not sure if another Grand Theft Auto is coming out. I'm sure it is at some point, but like if you think of all the Sony originals, would there be another Lost Legacy, an Uncharted expansion or side story? I would buy it. I would buy it. But yeah. So I think there might actually be more Sony originals and exclusives than there will be continuations of the previous originals and exclusives. This is my theory, but there's a lot of stuff we as a community already know about PlayStation 5. There's a lot of stuff we don't know. So, as you guys are finding it out, I'm finding it out at the same time ahead of you. That takes care of that for that video. Hope you enjoyed. Yeah, I probably don't say this as much as I should, but please like and subscribe. Alright, stay frosty, guys.